Hello YouTubers, my name is X Factor and welcome to some Battlefield 4 Operation Lockers where people are leaking out in lanes everywhere. This isn't the traditional round of lockers where someone gets a 2 or 3 flag hold. It becomes very stagnant and spammy over the doorways and no one can get through. Everybody and anybody is leaking through. So we're playing chase to face, capping flags, defending flags, and trying to eradicate the pests in between the points using the butt-naked UMP9, a PDW, for the engineer class. And much like many of these PDWs, they're just awful. Anything past medium range, including the SR2 and the ASVAL, which I've used on this channel before. The SR2 is an absolute beast up close, but has an absolute massive back and forth horizontal recoil and extremely low min damage at range. You're literally tickling them with marshmallows, more than likely upsetting them. Along with the ASVAL, which is a beast up close, a little bit better at medium range, but of course horrible at long range. So I wanted to find something that was a little bit better at medium range, something I could keep on target that would be more beneficial to me on a map like Lockers where there's plenty of close quarter action, but there's quite a few medium lanes, such as moving from flag to flag, or longer lanes like Snow Lane. So this falls right in the middle of a lot of the stuff at 700 rounds a minute, and the good news, it does hit for 25 up close. But the min damage is 12.1. You're going to be tickling people at long range. The good news is, about 25 meters, you're still doing a tick over 20 damage per bullet. So you potentially could get a 5-bullet kill if they don't have body armor on, or if they are damaged, you'll most certainly get a 5-round kill. The 700 rate of fire is also helpful because you're not too far behind the middle ground of a lot of the carbines, assault rifles, and LMGs in the game. So if your aim's on point, or if you're early to the party, you most certainly should be able to get the kill. Now this is naked. Look at my crosshairs. That is a pretty darn good hip fire when I'm not moving. There's no grip, no laser sight, no optic. And that's the other thing that I struggle with a little bit is the irons, a little bit obstructive of the view. Got me in trouble just a few times. But this is something I feel very comfortable with compared to something like the SR2 or the ASVAL, which is very restrictive in its role. It's a very one-way functional weapon. So something else to keep on mind is muzzle velocity. Only 370. Now if you put a suppressor on it, it's only 190. Very slow bullets. Not good if you're trying to lead people. But if your head's up, it's really not going to hurt you that much. So trying to stay alive, trying to get out of this awful 2-cap that we're stuck in. And this is when stagnant things can happen in lockers. If no one pushes Snow Lane, you're going to be in a lot of trouble because what traditionally happens when people play lockers? 90% of the map fights over the 3-foot wide doorway that I'm looking at and the 3-foot wide doorway that's on top of it. And if they do push Snow Lane, they try to clog C stairs, another death area. The best tip I can have is control Snow Lane. If you own Snow Lane, you can do whatever you want. Back rage at any point in time. The most common mistake people have is they're stuck in a 2-flag hold like we are now. They rush snow and they just pile into C stairs. Well, every noob tube, airburst, LVG is going to be simply on top of you. You have no room to breathe and you're not on burn. So it's all about getting to a burn point. So if your team's in trouble, push Snow Lane, get behind them, back cap their furthest flag, make them come back to you, and sometimes that helps your team advance past the doorways of death. And here's a nice little spot. You can see the UMP9 doing work where I'm getting pretty decent damage at these ranges, and I'm not afraid to hold down on the trigger. Burst firing when suppressed is always a good idea no matter what weapon you have, and that is the traditional C push that you see through stairs. Too many people in one spot. Well, what does that open up you to? One guy with an LMG, RPGs, or a couple guys with carbines, LMGs, assault rifles, just simply laying down the hose, not to mention air bursts and anything else that could be fired in that little cubby hole. That is really an area of death and should never be used unless you're simply trying to clear people out, or you do have a back cap and you're trying to get C via the back range. That sometimes opens it up. And just like any other weapon in Battlefield 4, it helps to stand perfectly still. The 700 rate of fire means this is extremely controllable. There is not a ton of horizontal recoil, allowing me to keep this on point, and the stray speeds is pretty nice when you're trying to go ADS and be somewhat elusive, because at the end of the day, it's about making them miss you and you connecting with your bullets when you're a heads-up gunfight. And my favorite thing about this, that right there, lightning fast reloads. 1.85 seconds. And if you're empty, not a big deal. Only 2.5 seconds, which is the FAMASA's quickest reload. And if you're empty, an eternity, 3.55 seconds. As I start to unlock things for the UMP9, I will more than likely be using a laser sight and an ergo grip to give me better accuracy when I'm going into full auto, because this gun does not have a lot of horizontal recoil, and you can really keep it at target at ranges like this by simply holding down the trigger or a couple bursts on a guy head glitching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, this little comeback in Operation Lockers using the UMP9. I'm extremely comfortable with this weapon, and so far, it's probably one of my favorite PDWs. As always, YouTubers, thanks for watching. We will see you soon.